r/AskReddit, nsfw, what is the worst thing you have found on someone else's phone? Not me, but a bartender friend of mine found a phone unlocked on the bar and couldn't locate its owner, so he punched in his own phone number and found out he was already in the contacts as Creepy J. Videos of my then husband descending into madness. He had gotten a traumatic brain injury, after which he took loads of videos of him going crazy. Last one, he was covered in vomit arguing with his reflection and had no idea it was him. 100% do not suggest watching someone you love like that. Trauma. My ex-wife's found a recipe for potato salad with raisins in it. My dad died about a year and a half ago in a car accident. I went through his phone after he passed and he had taken pictures of the bay near where he grew up the morning of his accident, and he had a half-written text message to me making plans to see me for Christmas. It's not like those things are shocking or awful in the way CP or whatever is, but it's shocking and awful in a way that it's a view into a life cut short. It was 2 days before Christmas and he was reminiscing about his childhood and planning with his children, and it all just ended in the blink of an eye. It guts me every time I think about it. My ex-wife's iTunes on her iPhone was actually my account that I set up for my iPad. She was just too lazy to set up a new account. So I told her if she did that her iMessages would come through to my iPad. She said she didn't care, until she started cheating on me and I got the texts directly to my iPad. Hanging out with a work friend after work. We would have a couple beers at this restaurant and he would scroll Tinder and I would help him decide on which way to swipe. Until we saw my wife, now ex-wife. That was not a great time. Edit. This exploded LOL, 9 years on Reddit now, over half my karma is just this comment. Thank you for the support of DMS. I found out my wife is dying, after I read messages exchanged between her and her sister. I guess she was too afraid to tell me just yet. I waited till she wanted to tell me on her own before I told her that I had seen the messages and had already known. Found texts from my GF secret lover. This was in the early 2000s, when phones were still super primitive. Her phone had that Snake game on it, and mine didn't, so I would occasionally use her phone to play Snake. The game would get interrupted if someone texted though. And sure enough, while I was playing, her secret lover texted her. I saw it, and then couldn't help myself and had to read the rest of the texts between them. Absolutely crushed me. Mild compared to a lot of other people's stuff posted here, I know. An old friend of mine called me frantically requesting I come to his house because he needed a witness. He feared his then wife was about to call cops and accuse him of domestic violence. I could hear her in the background screaming, "Jose, don't believe him." I don't live close, but I was concerned and drove over. They live in a cul-de-sac and I could hear the screaming before I got in the door. When I opened the door, he was at the top of the stairs trying to explain she is crazy. She was trying to explain that my friend is a pervert. So, of course my immediate thought was he must have been caught fucking around. Well, to my shock and disappointment, she managed to yank the phone from him and she immediately started scrolling to pictures. She had to show me to convince me that my buddy I have known for over a decade is a pervert. She showed a dick pic. I was like, gross, but okay. He started yelling, "That isn't me." Which made me even more uncomfortable because now my buddy is admitting to receiving dick pics. No. He had taken the picture and had sent it to his wife's co-worker's daughter. She was 12. I had always believed that had I ever confronted a child predator, that I would fuck him up. I didn't. Instead, I made sure his wife was able to call the cops without him trying to stop her. The end. A picture of my sex toy up his butt sent to another girl, face holding back tears. My nudes that I did not send to them. CP. He's in jail now. Emails of my ex trying to meet women from Craigslist for sex. I was 15. Found messages on my mother's phone about her failed suicide attempts and how she never wanted her kids to know about them. Didn't speak a word about what I saw, internalized the fear. She successfully took her life less than a year later. Dude came to the job site to complain. Asks the number for the supervisor, and when he pulls out his phone, his screensaver is a guy holding a huge dick. I don't know if it was his own, or someone else's, but damn. Edit. Oh good, my highest upvoted comment about some random guy's dick pic. Lovely. Photos of my own diary. My ex-boyfriend had taken pictures of every entry from when I was a kid and sent them all to my parents. I'm a dental hygienist. A long-term patient of mine wanted to show me pictures of he and his fiance's new puppy. Instead, he showed me 2 dick pics, upside down face. My boss telling his second in command all the things he loved doing to her during their affair. Her phone was just on the table and up popped the message. I wish I'd not read it. An app that allowed a married man to control a vibrator my GF was wearing while around me. I found I love you texts on my mom's phone to my boyfriend's dad, while my parents were still together. Edit for context, my boyfriend and I have been together since 2017. This whole ordeal happened 2020. My BF and I are waiting it out until we move out of town, lol. I did confront my mom and she told me to keep it a secret until after she got back from camping. Camping spot was 10 minutes away from boyfriend's dad's house BTW, they separated shortly after. But then my mom and my boyfriend's dad moved in together while my dad, boyfriend, and I were all living in the same house. I was excited to tell the story about how my date handed me his phone to show me a picture, and it was followed by about 10 dick pics of different dicks. He was a rugby player and apparently he left his phone on the bus. This is what his teammates did to his unattended phone. But after reading all these terrible stories, I am not sure this was the kind of story you were looking for. Edit. Thanks for all the awards and updates. I wasn't expecting this comment to blow up the way it did. Also, maybe he was gay, I don't know. He was a crazy guy, didn't give too many fucks about anything. All I know is that in rugby, hardly anything is ever gay. Found a video on my boyfriend's phone in high school of him and his friends stomping a litter of raccoons one by one, making the others roll in the gore. It was one of the most wicked things I've seen someone do. Promptly broke up after that. Damn, I came here to hear stories of infidelity. But learn some people are fucking monsters. Found my teenage daughter's in-process application to attend the University of Oklahoma. When I worked at a movie theater, a customer came up to scan his digital ticket. He accidentally swipes the image of the ticket into a really high-def pic of a vagina with presumably cum coming out of it. All he could say was, "Oh wow. How did that get there? Haha." I had just finished having sex with my GF at the time. Literally, right after finishing she turns over and sends a text, then got up to go to the bathroom. The person responded with, "So you finished up with him, when is he leaving?" It was the dude she was cheating on me with. There's so many comments here, so mine will probably be buried, but I'm going to share anyway. One day I came home after a night out to my boyfriend. He knew I was going to be up super late, and so he had left his laptop out for me to watch Netflix when I came back. I was watching Friends or something when, around 5 a.m., a text message popped up on his screen. It said, "Yeah, but now you're dating her." I clicked the text immediately and it opened up to a conversation he had been having with his ex-girlfriend. For months. It began before he and I even started dating, when we were still in the talking phases. Every secret I had ever told him, every trauma I had ever disclosed to him, he had texted to her while I was sleeping, to make fun of me and call me names. "Listen to what the crazy bitch told me today," he would say, telling her all the details of the extremely private things I had told him, all while telling me to my face he loved me, wanted to marry me, couldn't wait to grow old with me, etc. It took years for me to trust someone and date again after that. It was so hard to open up again, but lots of therapy helped. I was a personal assistant to an older gay man who ran a fancy event planning company. He was technologically challenged, so he eventually asked me to manage his emails, calls, schedule, etc. One day he asked me to help him with his personal laptop because it has a bunch of viruses, or something. His computer was 90% porn. His search terms and videos of choice were old young gay sex stuff, and he was basically searching my physical description plus gay sex into porn sites. I was weirded out but kept working for him until he passed away. He may have been a weirdo, but he was a good boss, and in the end I considered him a good friend. Everyone has weird kinks in my opinion, and he was never inappropriate with me, so I didn't see it as a deal breaker. My boss was computer irate. One day she asks me to help fix something on her cell phone. She did this from time to time. Fix her phone. Fix her kid's phone. Whatever. One day she asks me to change how messages appear. She gives me a phone, and in her messages is a message that says, "Stay the fuck away from my husband. You were just a whore for him to fuck, and I won't let you hurt our family anymore." Not entirely sure if she sent it or received it. Either way, yikes. Pics of me sleeping with their dick next to my face. Most disgusting shit ever. Oh, and maybe an honorable mention, pics of my ex cheating on me. Before we were dating, my girlfriend showed me a conversation from Tinder with a guy who wanted to pay to touch/sniff her feet. She never actually met up with him, but would kinda string him along a bit because the messages were funny to read. Anyway, I scrolled down just a little and he said something like 1K to sniff your butthole. Had a client showing me a picture of a haircut they wanted. I was hovering behind him as he was flipping through pictures, and the next one to the haircut ended up being what I assume was him, but his asshole wide open and googlet eyes on his cheeks, bent over like the auto cock meme. This was the day I learned never look at the phone until the customer has their picture up and ready. Damn, a lot of y'all seem to have some really strong feelings about Club Penguin. I used to work with a chick who took her husband's phone to work by mistake. While showing a bunch of people photos of her kids, she stumbled across a nature folder and clicked it. The folder was full of CP. I watched as the blood drained out of her face and she became visibly pale and then sick. She threw up. I've never seen someone's emotion/skin color change up so quick. It scared the shit out of me. I remember hearing her scream and cry while talking to the cops. When her husband arrived with her phone, they slapped the cuffs on him and he confessed on the spot. I found a phone and looked through the photos and found a picture of the guy holding his dick, but it was next to one of those tiny cans of Coke you get on planes. I have no idea why, but I assume he was trying to trick someone into thinking his dick was a regular Coke can size. My best friend had been dating a girl. One day I had his phone as I was fixing it for him. I was a bit of an entrepreneur, maybe not, guy in school. I always was fixing things, selling stuff, and so on. Anyway, after I fixed the screen on his phone and camera, I went through some motions on his phone to make sure the screen still worked. I took a photo and then went to photos and saw everything was good. I accidentally swiped again and saw a video. He used to make lots of parkour videos back in the day, so I assumed it was one of those. It wasn't. It was a video of him forcing himself onto his girlfriend, and there were loads. All of them. She looked like she was crying in the brief snapshots I saw of them. I deleted them all off his phone and told him I had to wipe his phone because of some stupid reason. He was really angry and asked if he could get his videos back. His girlfriend at the time suddenly looked really relieved and quickly ran away. He stood there for a moment before turning to me and asked if I wiped his phone on purpose. I said I did, I saw, and that we are no longer friends. Turns out he used those videos to control her. I never considered myself to be tough or strong, but I felt quite proud at the time. Part of me wishes I'd hit him, but I think I saved someone maybe. We never spoke again. He moved schools as I think he was afraid I'd tell people. Edit. I'd like to say I should have contacted the police and made sure I had her consent. I'm also not saying what I did back then was the right course at all. I was a teenager, not an excuse at all, but I certainly didn't handle it how it should have been handled. Edit 2. Okay, I'm getting a lot of messages about this story being fake / I helped the criminal out. Didn't really expect this much of a reaction. I was a teenager with zero clue how to respond to something like this. She never reported it or ever said anything. If I had reported it would have been with her consent. Maybe she did report it later on when she was ready to. I have no clue what it would be like to be in her situation or any rape victim's situation, but I can't imagine how embarrassed or what emotions would be involved if you were not ready for something like that to come out. Also, you're free to believe what you want to believe. We are strangers on the internet. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed this video and subscribe to never miss an upload.